expect you to think a certain way, but only that you try to live a kindly, helpful life with the dignity proper to a human being. Welcome all who believe that religion is wider than any sect and deeper than any set of opinions. Welcome all who might find in our friendship strength and encouragement for daily living. Good morning and welcome to the Universalist Unitarian Church of Farmington. I'm excited that we will have a coffee hour after the service today. It's a special week that I think it snowed on Monday and I'm feeling sweaty underneath my robe today. So that's the weather we have. Let's see. If you have a joy or sorrow you'd like to share, please fill out a blue card and give it to an usher, and it will be read later in the service, or you can also text the number in the order of service. We have a special day to celebrate Earth Day and to recognize the donation of the solar panels on our campus here. But before we get into that, we have some announcements from some of our committees. So, Katie, will you come for religious education?
Hi, good morning, everyone. I am here again with the RE signups for May. We've appreciated all of your help in RE. We've had a lot of awesome volunteers over the last couple months. So if you would like to help with RE in May or in the beginning of June, please put your name on here. If you have a lesson that you'd like to teach the kids, you can just check that you have a lesson. If you would like us to provide you with a lesson, we can do that as well. You just need to check that box, and we will email you the week that you volunteered with your full lesson run through. I also have two other announcements. The Peep Show is today. You will be able to look at the different Peeps dioramas and vote for your favorite using your change. If you forgot, don't panic. You can also bring in your diorama next week. Also, mark your calendars, May 14th, which is a Saturday, from 12 to 1. Kelly has been working with a few of our UUCF kids and some other homeschool kids in the area to put on Midsummer Night's Dream. So there will be a show outside, as long as weather permits, from 12 to 1 on May 14th, if you would like to come watch. So. Yes, if the weather is bad, it will be inside, so you can still come. All right, thank you.
Okay, my turn. Not only do we have a coffee hour today, we actually have a lunch for you, because today is our beautifying day. So anybody who's willing and able to put in a few minutes to a few hours of work to help us clean up our trails, get the front looking nice again, this is going to be great for the Earth Day. It'll be great for our church to be looking nicer for ourselves, as well as hoping that things can look nice and we can start drawing a lot more weddings and events back in here to help us with our income that way. So whether you just stay for lunch and some socializing, or whether you can put in some time with us, either way, we'll see you after church.
Hey folks, Mark Petrie, Fundraising Committee here. I don't have an update for you on numbers yet. We're still putting that together since last week, but today's the day. Hey, we were trying to get all of our pledges in by today, and we're looking pretty good. We got a lot of folks pledging, so thank you very much for that. If you have any questions, please do contact me. We also have hard copy forms in the back of the church, or you can pledge online. Make sure that you check your email, the email blast. And hey, it's great. We're talking about power today. Wow. Take the power in your own hands. You can do it. All right. Sounds good.
Hi, my name's Yvonne. I'm with the Social Justice Committee, and I just wanted to remind everybody that the Crop Hunger Walk is coming up on May 1st, and so we have a lot of walkers from our church that are going to walk in the Crop Hunger Walk. So since we're doing Earth Day today, one of the things I wanted to let you know is on an updated meeting that I had about Church World Service and the good work that they do all over the world. One of the things is that they're finding is due to climate change, the weather is more unpredictable, as we all are aware of. And so it used to be for the farmers, there'd be like a rainy season and a dry season, and they could allow for that. Well, now in a lot of places around the world, they're teaching the farmers to use irrigation and other options so that they don't lose their crops. It's not too late to contribute to the Crop Hummer Walk. 75% goes to Church World Service. The other 25% goes to 5 local food pantries. And so I'd like anyone that's going to be walking in the Crop Hunger Walk to stand up, because you can make a contribution to any of the walkers. So, all right. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Libby Berger, also for Social Justice. You may have noticed in your blast this last Friday that there is a link for you to tell the social justice team exactly what it is that you're really intense about, the things that are really most important to you. So please look at that link and let us know what you think is important.
Wonderful. Thank you for all the announcements this morning with so many things going on in our congregation. I'd like to do the shared affirmation of mission now. It's printed in your order of service, and we can recite it together. We seek answers everywhere, include everyone, and live with compassion. And for the chalice lighting, with the kindling of this flame, we reaffirm our commitment to accept life's gifts with grace and gratitude, and to use them to bless the world in the spirit of love. Okay, our opening hymn is This Pretty Planet. I invite you to rise in body or in spirit. It's printed on the back of your order of service. And let's sing it together.
We're going to sing it as a round. First, we're going to sing it all together, one time through. And then this is part 1. This is part 2. And we'll sing so all together once, and then you'll sing your part twice after that.
We'll bring you in on part 2.
And bring you in part 1. You just keep, this side, just keep singing.
Oh
So at the end of the service today, we'll present a plaque to commemorate the donation of the solar panels. And before that, we're going to hear from Dennis Slotnick and David Freidrichs, who donated the solar panels in honor of their mothers, Esther and Virginia. And Virginia is here with us this morning as well, and she will be honored as well. I'd like to introduce Dennis and Dave before they come up and share some words with us. Dennis Slotnick was raised a Unitarian Universalist. He attended Farmington, this church from 1960 to 1971, and he has spoken here on a Sunday morning before. He was born in Livonia, Michigan, and got his Bachelor's of Science in Natural Resources at the University of Michigan in 1975, and his Master's in Secondary Science Education from Wayne State University in 1980. He's a retired biology and environmental science teacher from Oregon City Schools. He's responsible for the first commercial-scale wind turbine on public lands at Clay High School, Oregon, Ohio. He chaired Our Revolution in Northwest Ohio and the regional coordinator for the Single Payer Action Network, and he's been a political activist and organizer since 1992. Dave Freidrichs is a lifelong UU, born like his mother, whose memory is honored today in Burlington, Vermont, where his grandparents' home was right behind the UU church at the head of Church Street. Dave is a licensed builder and an economics graduate of Michigan State University. He founded Homeland Solar in Ann Arbor about 15 years ago to focus on getting solar installed in and around Southeast Michigan. So with that, I'd like to sing our second of 3 hymns this morning, For the Beauty of the Earth. It's number 21 in your gray hymnal, and I invite you to rise in body or in spirit and sing that now. Dennis, please come and share with us.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It is beyond an honor for me to be here today. It is beyond being humble that I'm back at the UU Church. I'm seeing so many faces of people that I know and over the years with great respect. I could name Roberta and the Baileys and so many of us. I would like to divert from my presentation just a moment because of the really extremely beautiful morning that it is. And looks like I got a lot of help from us. This particular mic is from my mother, who's able to hear better if we use this thing. What a morning it is to be here at the UU Church, where I was first starting out as a 6th grader when the church was in downtown Farmington. I had a marvelous RE teacher who said, "Let's just do science." One Sunday we did butterflies. One Sunday we did hummingbirds. One we did insects, particularly the honeybees. And I was moved deeply at the time as a 6th grader that religion could be science as well. And I'm really quite inspired to be here. There's some dear friends of mine who I was raised with in this church, and it formed my sense of values, my sense of what is most important in life, and that is searching for a greater truth. And I'd like to introduce to you the source of my life, my own mother, and she is here today with the age of 107, without a question, the eldest of us all. And she is the one, along with Esther Freidrichs, who has inspired David and I to pursue science, pursue truth, pursue the beauty of nature, because of their example and because of their own desire, a relentless desire to better our life, to use science and technology, and to get a deeper meaning in life every single day. So this is what dedicating the solar panels is about for me, is to honoring our source, our mothers. Those who know Esther know that she is bubbling with the enthusiasm of nature, and I would like to give you a little bit of a glimpse today of the reverence and the sense of stewardship that I carry, that David carries through their influence. This morning's presentation is called The Soul of Solar Power. Soul as in S-O-U-L. And I hope you don't feel offended by the word. The term of soul I'm using here is that finest quality, finer even than feeling, that finest individual quality that is at the essence. It's a search for that, yes? Well, the soul of solar power takes us on a journey partly scientific and partly of spirit. And I think that there's no more interesting place to share this information and insights than here at the Unitarian Church. The soul of solar power is to discover in a glimpse, a very small glimpse, the immensity of the universe, and to narrow it down in scientific terms, and if you're with me, to weave some poetry in and out of the science to give us a sense of what it is to be connected to this planet and all of the life forms. So if we take a look, a serious look at what is life, and we ask, what is its source? beyond our parents, beyond the inspiration of our friends, and we look to see how is it a flower grows, or how is it as arbor vitae, the arbor, the tree, vitae of life, the tree of life gets its life. Well, this question has tagged us for a long time, of course, those who worship the sun and those who worship the stars and worship the beginning of spring. But I'm asking this question a little bit differently. I'm asking what energizes life? Not just what is life, but what energizes life? What is the thing that keeps it going? What keeps the top spinning? What keeps the yo-yo going without having to throw it every time? Well, let's suppose we look at the human hand or a photovoltaic cell for a moment, and we ask that question in a more scientific approach. We would say, oh, the unit of life? Well, it's made of cells, and there's 5,000 cells between one here and one here, the inch. And each of these cells are self-sufficient, and each of these cells receives solar energy, and each of these cells has a tiny little chemical mechanism, a photochemical, that receives a photon from the sun, and that photon then jumps to another energy level. It's called a quantum leap, literally. That's where the quantum came from, a jump of the electron into another orbit, and as it comes back off of that leap, it cascades through a series of fairly complex electron transport chain reactions inside of the leaf. Twice. Once to get up enough energy molecules, and the second time to make glucose. And glucose, you know, is the sugar of life. It's the sweetest essence of, pardon the pun, the sweetest essence of what makes us think. It builds the structures in our body. Our lipids, our proteins are all based and fueled by glucose. So we can really trace back the energy of all structures of life to the idea that sunlight strikes a leaf. That may sound kind of simple, but it's not. It's unanswerable at this time. Scientists have been studying photons for 117 years and can still not figure out what's going on. It's a very great mystery how something is a wave and a particle at the same time, but neither one. And it's non-living, but inspires the living. I'll say it again, just because it's so profound, it sounds a little bit like Zen meditation. Something that is neither particle or wave and non-living is inspiring all of life, energizing all of life. How can that be? We still don't know. And so that puts it on the side of a mystery, yes? If science can't explain it, then it's still a mystery. I want to be careful not to go over my 10 minutes. I'm going to go back to my script. So spiritually speaking, we could say a photon is an excited impulse, the finest excited impulse coming from the sun. And yet, it has some kind of charm in that it is a non-living vibration. These things are extremely tiny. A photon is 1/trillionth of a meter. So that's 1/10 of a meter. A 1/10 of a meter is here. A centimeter is 100th of a meter. 1/trillionth is 12 zeros. Okay, so we can't see them. They're extremely small. And furthermore, they're extremely fast. If indeed this is the Earth. I know we should have some clouds and some other things, but if this were the Earth, And a photon started out at its amazing speed of light, which is essentially what light is, the speed of light. That little particle would go 7.5 times around the entire planet in 1 second. I can't even put my finger around here 7.5 times a second, let alone light traveling that fast. And it has been doing that ever since it left the sun. Every star has been doing that ever since the Big Bang. Just a glimpse of the immensity of these things and the tremendous speed and almost infinite smallness. Okay, so we can't see them. But it turns out we could hear them if they slowed down enough and if they were bigger. So since science is a little abstract and hard to figure out sometimes, I thought I'd bring it to a real sensory thing. If indeed we look at and have measured a photon has its internal vibration, in other words, it trembles a little bit, has its internal vibration of about 1,000 hertz. And 1,000 hertz turns out to be 2 C's above middle C. You can relate, right? Maybe you could even play it, but I'll play it for you just so you don't have to get up out of your seat. This is what, hello? Oh, I love technology.
Let me know if you want me to do it.
It doesn't sound like that. I missed the comment. That's it. Let's go back to the traditional manual thing here. No, for some reason it's just simply not coming up. Well, if you go, can you find it? So it does take an imagination, if you can imagine that. That is the frequency of a photon, if indeed we could slow it down and if our ears were on the level. There's some other problems with that. The photons coming from the sun right now at that frequency are striking every square foot on the planet. And if it's not included planet, it would look like this. This planet receives on 1 square foot 4 billion photons a second. So those who are a little bit mathematics know that a billion is 18 zeros. In 1 second, and the next second, and the next second are bombarded everywhere on the planet with more than we can count. That's what photons are doing, and they're energizing everything. Every living thing that has been, well, there's some that don't need photons, but that's astounding to me. The same photons that strike this panel strike our solar panel at the same rate and the same speed and the same frequency, but they give us energy directly. Engineers have figured this out. They've got a piece of silicon, and the electrons do the same leap and then back again like they do on a leaf. They come back again and hit another electron and bump that electron along and along and along a wire. The wire becomes current to run our fans, to light our lights, to turn on the heat, to run our air conditioning, to run our phones and every appliance in this church. Thank you, David. And you could say, kind of in a spirit sense, if we didn't have the electrical currents coming into this building, that the church would be kind of dead. It would be lifeless. So you could say that the panel or electrical is bringing us warmth, it's bringing us vitality to the church, it's bringing us life. You could say that. And furthermore, where would the soul of the Unitarian Church be without it? Because after all, we're enlivened by the heat, we're enlivened by the light and the electricity. I want to digress one other point and make it an Earth Day relation. That is, until this solar panel went online in February, the church electrical power came from natural gas, but also from coal. Now, you may know that coal burning has got carbon dioxide and nitrous oxide and sulfur dioxide. It's a scourge. I don't have to go into that. But the point is that when you burn coal, you are burning fossil fuels that have stored up ancient sunlight, transport it, have to burn it, have to heat water to make steam, generate electricity on a turbine, send that power, transform it to a high power line, transform it again back down so that we can use it. And every step along the way wastes electrical energy by a major factor. We may be getting 5% of the original energy that's in coal. Very, very wasteful. That's because it's so indirect. One could even say we're spiritually deprived from our energy source because it's so indirect. Now with a solar panel, we can see it light up. We can actually meter the current and see sunlight in our room almost directly. So that's what a solar panel can do. It shortcuts all of that, gives us clean, efficient, and safe electrical energy. And every kilowatt that's generated saves us 2 pounds worth of carbon. Okay, so how does that translate into today? Well, on the average, I checked it out on our website, that in March, we were producing about 20 kilowatt hours per day on our solar panel. It's producing about 1/3 of what this church uses. So, of 1/3 of what the church is using, we are saving 40 pounds of carbon dioxide per day, of greenhouse gas, of climate change gas. Thank you, David Freidrichs. I have more than gratitude for David. I think that his generosity with the solar array, I worked with him on some of the hurdles that I've gone through to make this solar array possible here. It is a work of his patience. I don't use the word saintliness in this church, but he really is devoted to making sure the planet is green and sustainable. So what I'd like to do is take you on a little tour of the website of the UU Church, UUCF Church. On the website, if you click on this little link, it will show you day by day, month by month, hour by hour actually, how much power is being generated by the solar panel and how much carbon is being saved and the equivalent of numbers of trees. With a little bit of interpretation, this graph is solar production in number of days, and here we are, the 24th. Would that be right?
Yeah, 24th is there.
So we have the rest of the day to collect and get caught up with yesterday's.
This is yesterday's.
But you can see, and anyone can see, that we are directly linked to not only our energy source, but directly linked to the cosmic energy source. And that's really, I think, really cool. Thank you for your focused attention. I'd like to ask you a couple questions, David, about this chart, because you're responsible for helping us get that.
That's what I'm here for. And this must be from early in the morning to have such a small
I think
amount
so.
for the
This-
24th.
oh, I know.
If it's updated and
This-
rebooted,
this
it'll
must have
bump
been
up.
a screenshot from early today.
Yep.
Oh, okay, so if you were to go there now, David, to that website, and you could probably do it on your phone, if you could go there now, what would this look like, do you think?
Well, it would be a third of the way up. We're or maybe even toward the middle part on, compared to yesterday. That layout on the little tree in the top right, top left, shows the panels that you can see.
Just to see if it goes up, I'm just updating the.
Okay, Ellen is at work in the back. We need scientists. We need engineers. There we go. It's coming.
Oh, see? Thank you, David. You want to?
Do you want me to, shall I take over now?
Go ahead and present your
Yep.
slide.
That sounds good, yep. Well, we're here on a naturally blessed day, and I share Dennis's appreciation of our miraculous mothers. Today's actually 1 year anniversary of my mother's passing. She died just a year ago today, ironically. But and if we're trying to, I guess my role is to kind of get a handle on the understanding of our electric future that we know is coming. And if I can clarify some questions or bring a little understanding to the challenges of our predicament and the possibilities, I'd like to do that. And I kind of inserted in the program because I thought Dennis might go just a tad over 10 minutes. And so you have a takeaway. You have cliff notes there that actually say, what should it cost if I do solar on my house or on my business here in Michigan? What should I get? How do I relate to my DTE bill to understand, kilowatt hours, which I see, I get billed for every month, and they're in the hundreds, 500. Some houses even get up to 1,000 a month. And what does that mean? And what does it mean in terms of what I might need in terms of solar? So those are in kind of Cliff Note fashion. And though we take some time and we can answer some questions here, and Dennis and I will both hang around, enjoy the water, the coffee, whatever we've got, and talk afterward personally with anyone who'd like to. We'll try to get the individual questions answered one way or the other. But I do want to try to get to that understanding of, is it really possible? Because the vast use of energy that we have in our world, you know how vast the energy use is just because we live the way we live. And is it really possible? It's to globally decarbonize. Is it conceivable that it could happen? So I had, as you came in, maybe we'll use that little marble, and that little smaller ball than he's got, but if you could pull out the marble you received, and if you might extend it at the end of your arm, that's Earth, that's us, 1 million miles away. So to the moon and 4 times further. That's what we look like. So and the reason I kind of had them in a dish to give to each of you is that the message is there also that humans have taken control of this in the past 10,000 years plus. And now it really is true that you've got the whole world in your hands, or collectively, we have the whole world in our hands. So that's the challenge. It's a great one. And is it really possible to, what have we got? You know, it's, when Dennis talks of the photon, it's a discrete unit of energy. So discrete that there are, we calculated, actually one of my partners in Homeland Solar was a physicist from Cornell, and we actually did the math in emails back and forth, and he actually came up, instead of 4 with 18 zeros, 250. Quintillion is 18 zeros. In a square foot, every second, forever, since the Big Bang. So that's the resource. That's the power that's at our disposal. If we can, this is the illustration. I was at one of the museums in Chicago, and on the wall, they had this, boom, right there. And they said, this is just a little piece of the sun. And that little dot right there, this dot represents Earth at the same scale as this corner of our favorite star. A little flare going out at the time. 350,000 of our little pale blue dots fit in that. And we are bombarded by 23,000 terawatt years per year of power in these photons, 23,000, and the total global use of energy currently is less than 20. So if Earth is hit by 23,000 and you relate that to less than 20, is there enough? It's enough. It's a problem of engineering, willpower, and cooperation, and management. So that's what we're faced with. Carl Sagan wrote in 1994 his book called The Pale Blue Dot. I was interested a few months ago, we installed, or it was not, I guess it was last summer, last fall, at a gentleman's house, and he was riding around on his tractor, cutting his lawn, but he had his ear pods in and he was listening to Cosmos, because he says, I'm just so inspired by Carl Sagan, and rightfully so, if you've heard him. So I made this into a little card-sized handout that you'll be given when you leave today. And on the back, on the flip side of this picture, is 5 paragraphs from Carl Sagan's Pale Blue Dot. And I'll read just the 5th of his phrases, paragraphs that are on that back of that card. He says, he introduces it saying that astronomy is humbling and character building. But there is perhaps no better demonstration of the folly of human conceit than this distant image of our tiny world. Talking about, Voyager looking back across from the outer stretches of the galaxy back at the pale dot in the sky. To me, it underscores our responsibility to deal more kindly with each other and to preserve and cherish the pale blue dot, the only home we've ever known. hard to figure how our behavior can be as bad on some parts of the earth, and our inability to cooperate can be so extremely poor as to when we are, what is a mote of dust suspended in a sunbeam. That's it. So, if there's any particular questions, I'd be happy to take them. And I was going to say as my first question, before I knew the details of Dennis's talk, I said, just how many photons are there hitting that square, that 1 foot square, every second, forever? And we only, one of the great challenges, as you know, is storage, is how do we store? Because we're like a yin-yang. We've got nighttime, we've got night, and sun isn't right there all the time. So we use wind, we use hydro, and the earth turns. So we're traveling here, we're traveling 1,500 miles an hour, practically, as we sit here. We're traveling let's see, I think it's about 1.6 million miles per day around the sun. So we're already in the mix traveling. That's quite a number of photons, those discrete little units of energy in light. That's what light is made of. Now, if there are, and my cliff notes are not all that good, but it does give details as to cost. We probably put 500, 600, 700. Is it? I need these guys more experienced than I at this. There. I'm back? All right. Well, I would be willing to take any kinds of questions you might have about installing solar or considering it or considering batteries. Or we've done 500 plus, 500 to 600, 700 installations here in Southeast Michigan. And we're heavy at it. We try to do one every day now, and it's prime season, where I was pleased that the schools in Ann Arbor passed $1 billion bond, and every school in Ann Arbor, 30 of them, are doing solar. So we've won every bid we've been into on them, but we have 3 or 4 to do now. Or they have to, schools out, go do these schools. Each one is getting about $300,000 worth of solar. The Ann Arbor Parks and Rec has, a dozen facilities, and we won that bid, and we have every one of those to do, from the Gallup Canoe Livery to Vets Park, to Fuller Park, to Buer Park and Cobblestone Farms, and the Senior Center, and anyway, so we've got our hands full with work. So, and batteries are the thing, because batteries is kind of the holy grail right now to how can we bridge and how can we have it there if we need to go to it because the sun is behind something. But even in clouds, you'll see, and you'll be able to watch the website for the church, you'll see that solar does produce, despite the clouds. It just is going to be down a lower percent. And when I go to, say, 250 quintillion photons per square foot per second, that's simply in full sunlight. That's right there, on the dime, 90 degrees, boom. So Dennis's number 4 is going to happen also, or 3, depending on the nature of the sun at the moment.
Dave, we're going to have to move on. Thank you so much. Dave and Dennis, thank you for sharing.
We'll be here and talk after. Sound good?
Wonderful. Dave will be available for questions after. I'd like to share together a prayer for future beings and then share a moment of silence and stillness together. You live inside us, beings of the future. In the spiral ribbons of ourselves, you are here. In our rage for the burning forests, the poisoned fields, the oil-drowned seals, you are here. You beat in our hearts through late-night meetings. You accompany us to the toxic dumps in the halls of the lawmakers. It is you who drive our dogged labors to save what is left. O you who will walk this earth when we are gone, stir us awake. Behold through our eyes the beauty of this world. Let us feel your breath in our lungs, your cry in our throat. Let us see you in the poor, the homeless, the sick. Haunt us with your hunger, hound us with your claims, that we may honor the life that links us. You have as yet no faces we can see, no names we can say, but we need only hold you in our mind, and you teach us patience. You attune us to measures of time where healing can happen, where soil and souls can mend. You reveal courage within us we had not suspected, love we had not owned. O you who come after, help us remember, we are your ancestors. Fill us with gladness for the work that must be done. May it ever be so. Amen. I'd like to invite Barb Eglinton up from the Executive Board to help me present this commemorative plaque. I will read what the plaque says, and we're going to present this today, and then it'll be hung in the hallway near the office. UUCF's first solar array, the EV array. EV stands for Esther and Virginia, honoring Esther Reed Freidrichs and Virginia Slotnick. May the steadfastness of the spirit of life of these two long-standing congregants of this historic church strengthen your heart, inspire your good health, and endure long in our memories. Between Esther and Virginia, their lifetimes extended more than 200 years. And with that, Barbara, will you please present those flowers to Virginia? Yeah, it's got a lot of water in it, but it's pretty heavy. And I will put a flower out on the memorial wall. But they're very heavy. Go. Wonderful. And David and Dennis, will you come up here and I'll present this plaque and we can congratulate you. It also talks about how it honors the Unitarian Universalist seventh principle, respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part. Solar power reduces human impact on the planet's ecosystems by lowering greenhouse gas emissions. This array demonstrates UUCF's support for renewable energy as sustainable and harmony are sought among humans and for all life on Earth. So David and Dennis, thank you for helping us fulfill our mission. Thank you. We often speak of environmental concerns as green. On this day, when we celebrate Earth Day, let us share the green as we now receive the offering. At this time, I invite anyone who is visiting for the first time, if you're comfortable doing so, you can stand and tell us where you're from and how you heard about us. We would like to meet you.
I'm Helen Smith, we live in Livonia. And a friend of Daryl's told us about your church, and we're looking for somewhere that's more in line with our values and beliefs, and we're interested in here.
Wonderful. Welcome.
Yeah, my name's Daryl, and I'm Helen's.
Wonderful. Welcome.
I'm Shiloh Miriam from Boise, Idaho. I'm here visiting. I've been streaming for a couple months now here. And I'm here with Crystal.
Wonderful. Welcome, Shadow. All right. We have joys and sorrows. I do not have any text or blue. Closing hymn. It's number 1064, Blue Boat Home. It's in the teal hymnal. And please rise in body or in spirit and sing it together.
Thank you.
inscription of ancient Gaelic ruins. Deep peace of the running wave to you. Deep peace of the flowing air to you. Deep peace of the quiet earth to you. Deep peace of the shining stars to you. Deep peace of the infinite peace to you. In peace you came, in peace may you go, remembering that every day is Earth Day.